Yo, quick podcast before it gets too dark outside. Took a day off. I was busy. But today we're doing surefire Hall of Famers if they retired right now. Career over. Call it a day. Who would be in the Hall of Fame? We'll just get straight to it. We'll start with the Chiefs. Obviously, Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and I'm like 60-40 on Chris Jones. He doesn't have the accolades for it. He's never been a depoy, but he is the best defensive player on a team that won 3 Super Bowls. So 50-50, gigantic playoff performer. I think I'm like ever so slightly leaning yes. But I don't know. Harrison Butker, I'm going to say no. Not enough accolades yet. He has literally 0. Hopefully he starts racking up some all-pros now that Justin Tucker's gone, and maybe you'll have a chance. We're just going to go through the divisions. The Broncos, really, honestly, no, but I have to put Pat Surtain in there. The guy just won a depoy. He's going to have a Hall of Fame career, so I know I said if they retired today, but I feel like you have to lean yes to pretty much anybody who has a Defensive Player of the Year or an MVP. You know, that's kind of just an auto yes. Means you were best in the league if you were an MVP, and best in the league defensively, obviously, if you were Defensive Player of the Year. So you got to give it to him. Get a quick drink. But yeah, we'll say yeah to Pat Surtain. Why not? Unfortunately, my Raiders, I think, are a no. We have Max Crosby, who hopefully is on track. Hopefully can win a depoy and make it in. Brock Bowers one day. Ashton Genty one day. Hell yeah. But no right now. The Chargers, Khalil Mack, to me, is a yes. Personally, I think Khalil Mack is a guaranteed 100% yes. Has a depoy, has quite a few All-Pros and Pro Bowls. One of the best defensive players I've ever seen in his prime. Derwin James, I'm going to have to say no. He was great. Hall of very great. Hall of fantastic. Not the Hall of Fame, though. He was elite. Not a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. But was one of the best safeties in the league throughout his career. To me, you got to have, multiple years of being the best in the league at your position and, some accolades. The Titans, no. No point in going into that. The Jaguars, closest they have is Brandon Scherf. I mean, maybe if he had 4 more awesome seasons, then he could make it, but no. He hasn't been dominant enough, in my opinion. The Texans, that's one where I feel like we'll have some debate. Stephon Diggs is going to be a no from me. Stephon Diggs is great. He had quite a few good years. The second that guy left the Bills, they were instantly better, unfortunately. I don't know. I just feel like Stephon Diggs was awesome. He has an iconic playoff moment, so maybe he can make it off of that. Hall of very, very good. I don't know about Stephon Diggs. I think that is, I'd say I'm 65% no, 35% yes. So I guess we'll see what it actually comes down to. The Colts, I'm saying yes for Quentin Nelson. The guy's been just a staple of consistency in the offensive line. I'm probably going to miss a bunch of offensive linemen, and I'm probably going to miss a bunch of, kickers and shit like that. Whatever. But, I'd say yes to Quentin Nelson. Obviously, nobody else in the Colts. Oh, wait, I think I forgot. What is that corner's name? This is embarrassing. He's not on the Colts anymore, is he? Oh, no. He's on the Patriots? Stephon Gilmore? Where the hell is he at? Wherever Stephon Gilmore's at, I think he's probably a yes. Let me look. Let me look him up real quick on the fly, because I totally forgot about this guy. Because he's so damn old. Stephon Gilmore, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champ. Oh, yeah, he's a Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, there it is. I'd say Stephon Gilmore, depoy. That's going to be a yes. He's in Minnesota? Gross. Or he was in Minnesota. Is he on the Patriots now? Whatever. Stephon Gilmore, I'm going to say yes. We can move on from that. Whatever team he's on. The Ravens, obviously yes to Lamar Jackson. Obviously yes to Derrick Henry. Justin Tucker, I know he just got cut. We're just going to say yes. He's not officially retired. The last team he was on was the Ravens. Second best kicker, if not the best kicker of all time. Unfortunate situation that he's been going through recently, but, it's tough to give him a yes based on his ability on the football field. The Browns, Myles Garrett, and nobody else even worth talking about, in my opinion. Myles Garrett, probably a top 10 edge rusher in NFL history. The Steelers have a surprising amount. Aaron Rodgers, obvious yes. J.J. Watt, he would be an obvious yes. T.J. Watt, obviously yes. Cam Hayward, I think so. I'm leaning yes on Cam Hayward. Jalen Ramsey, I'm going to say yes. Probably a top 10 to 15 player of all time at his position. Best corner in the league on a Super Bowl winning team. I would say yes for Jalen Ramsey. We have Buffalo. I think it's just Josh Allen. Deion Dawkins is awesome. That's obviously not a yes for him. I think that's really it for Buffalo. It's just Josh Allen right now. Miami is Tyreek. Obvious yes. And Minka Fitzpatrick, very, very close. I'm going to say no, but one of the closer no's. The Pats, the Patriots, no. Unless Stephon Gilmore is actually on the Patriots, and I'm remembering that right. I think he might be, but I'm not really sure. If he is on there, then Stephon Gilmore, but for right now, no. The Eagles, I really actually think is just Saquon and Lane Johnson. Jalen Hurts right now, I don't think would instantly get into the Hall of Fame if he retired right now. I don't know what you guys think about that. I don't think that he's had enough individual dominance. He's been great. He's never been an MVP level guy. I think you have to have at some point in your career probably been an MVP level guy or close to it to be into the Hall of Fame as a quarterback. Hall of really good right now. I mean, they win another Super Bowl. They have another awesome season. Maybe we could talk about it. But Saquon, yes. Lane Johnson, yes. Those are the only two that I'm counting from the Eagles. Although there's some arguments for some of those other offensive linemen, but those are two obvious yeses. The Giants, I'm going to have to say probably the closest no possible is Russell Wilson right now. Russell Wilson, I'm going to have to say no. He's had an awesome career. I don't know if I'd say he's a Hall of Famer. Never really an MVP caliber guy. But hey, he's been to 2 Super Bowls. I think that the recent years have kind of, almost like Aaron Rodgers, but the last couple of years have kind of brought down his legacy, even though it's not really his fault. We can go to the Commanders, who just have Bobby Wagner. That's it. Bobby Wagner, top 5 to top 10 linebacker of all time. Dude was fucking awesome with the Legion of Boom. He's actually still really good right now, even at the expired age of like 36 years old on this team. So hopefully he can be the only sole positive of this defense this year, because that Commanders defense is probably going to suck again. But Bobby Wagner is awesome. Loved watching that guy play in his prime. Laid a lot of big hits. The Bears, I think the closest thing they have is Joe Thuney. I mean, the guy's been to like 5 Super Bowls, I think, but I don't know. I think he's only a couple-time Pro Bowler. I'm leaning no. But Joe Thuney, multiple-time Super Bowl champion, one with the Patriots, one with the Chiefs. So maybe he gets in off of his Super Bowl success and just off of being like an elite team guy. The Packers, no right now. I mean, maybe Josh Jacobs rattles off a couple more seasons where he's like the rushing yards leader and we can talk about it. Maybe he wins an Offensive Player of the Year. Obviously, no to the, Jordan Loves or the Christian Watson sure should ain't making the Hall of Fame. Jaden Reed looked like he was going to for about 4 weeks. Is there anybody else? I mean, Kenny Clark? No. Jair was on the Packers, but that's a no. The Vikings, I don't care. If we're going to put Patrick Surtain in, I think Justin Jefferson has to be in. Best receiver in the league the entire time he's been in the league. Second he stepped into the league and ever since. Weirdly, after saying no on Jamar Chase, I'm saying yes on the Vikings. Did I already go over the... Oh, shit, I just completely skipped over the Bengals, I think. But the Bengals, I'm saying no to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Unfortunately, Jamar Chase maybe has one season being the best receiver in the league. Justin Jefferson's been the best receiver in the NFL his entire career. So, me personally, I would say he's a Hall of Famer. The Lions, I'm going with a shocking nobody. For how good that team is, you would expect there to be more Hall of Famers. Jared Goff is in the Hall of really, really good, really sick, really cool. Penei Sewell will be a Hall of Famer, but we can't call him that right now, given that he's only been in the league for a couple years. But Penei Sewell will be a Hall of Famer. Aiden Hutchinson might be a Hall of Famer. Jared Goff would probably have to rattle off a Super Bowl win. Then maybe we could have that conversation. The Falcons, big stinking no. Jesse Bates is maybe their closest. I do like the Falcons this year, though. Random side note from the Hall of Fame conversation. I do like the Falcons this year. Not like I like them to win anything, but I like their draft picks. I like Ricky. What the hell is his name? Ricky? Is that his name? The edge rusher from Tennessee that they drafted. I can't remember his name to save my life right now. The Saints have Cam Jordan, and that's it. Tyler Shuck sure shit ain't a Hall of Famer. Crazy side stat that I've heard lately. Did you know that Tyler Shuck is a couple months older than Trey Lance? That's fucking crazy. The Bucks, I would say yes to Mike Evans, no to Vita Vea, no to Levante David. Really, really good, though. Mike Evans, probably the closest to being a no that was a yes in this whole list. The Seahawks are a no. DeMarcus Lawrence ain't making the Hall of Fame. Hey, maybe Sam Darnold has the greatest season of all time, but I'm going to say no for the Seahawks. The Rams, Matt Stafford and Devontae Adams, I think are both obvious yeses. I could see how people could argue that Matt Stafford's not a Hall of Famer because he doesn't have an MVP and he doesn't have all these accolades. Matt Stafford's a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. He's better than Eli Manning ever was. Matt Stafford is a fucking fantastic quarterback. Love Matt Stafford. Guy's like 36, and he's still like top 6 or 7 in the league, in my opinion. Devontae Adams, obvious, clear, no question about it, yes. The Niners, I think CMC, Trent Williams, and Fred Warner are all Hall of Famers. CMC is just a top 10 running back of all time, so that to me probably gets you into the Hall of Fame. Trent Williams might be the best player at his position of all time, so that's an obvious yes. And to me, Fred Warner is a top 5 to top 10 linebacker of all time, so a yes on Fred Warner too. I'd have to say no on Nick Bosa. Not enough career yet. A couple too many injuries. I mean, maybe he puts it together at the end, but I don't see Nick Bosa being a Hall of Famer. And to end it off, the Cardinals actually do have a Hall of Famer in Calais Campbell. I forgot he was on that team, but Calais Campbell is a Hall of Famer. He has a DPOY and has actually a lot of accolades. Matt Stafford. Let's talk about this, though. That's enough on the Hall of Fame conversation. Let me know who I missed, because I guarantee you I missed some offensive linemen, probably missed a kicker or something. Bunch of random shit. But I think for the most part we covered every team in the league, who their Hall of Famers are, and this will be unlimited TikTok clips for, every division. The Rams. This Matt Stafford injury would scare the fucking shit out of me. As a Raider fan, I can tell you, you do not want Jimmy G playing football for your team. Shit, the Niners didn't want Jimmy G playing football for their team after a year or two, even though he got that monstrous contract. As a Raiders fan, fuck that. Do not. If Matt Stafford misses time, bet against them in every game. I know Sean McVay's awesome. I know Sean McVay's going to make it work. But Matt Stafford is fucking awesome. Matt Stafford, when he plays, one of the strong parts of that team. Maybe the strongest part of that whole team. Jimmy G, when he plays, is going to be, the best, the absolute peak right now. If you took Jimmy G and put him in a perfect situation with a perfect coach and with perfect weapons and all this shit, at best, he could be shitty Geno Smith right now. I don't even know, like an F+ version of Jared Goff. I fucking hate Jimmy G. Sorry to Jimmy G. Handsome guy, though. Hell of a, easy on the eyes, but he fucking sucks at quarterback. Although I actually do think it was a bit more of our coach's fault, but Jimmy G does fucking suck. That guy's terrible. If I was the Rams might have the biggest variance right now of any team, where I'm like, could the Rams make a deep playoff? Like, could the Rams be in the NFC Championship game next year? That's not impossible. I feel like a lot of NFL analysts and shit that I hear kind of have a love affair with the Rams. Like Nick Wright thinks they're the second best team in the conference. Colin Cowherd's super high on the Rams. I don't know if they're friends with Matt Stafford or something, but those dudes fucking love the Rams. I'm not that high. I'm not Super Bowl contender high on the Rams, but the Rams could be in the NFC Championship game, and also could be a 5-win team. If Matt Stafford gets hurt, that team's going to suck. That team's going to really fucking suck. But that young defense getting better means a lot. Jared Verse last year was absolutely manhandling people towards the end of the year. Didn't get a lot of sacks because he was getting doubled, and, what are you going to do? If Aaron Donald was still on that team, holy shit. Then we'd be having different conversations. But, yeah, if I'm the Rams, I'm a little bit nervous, but we can move on from that. I seen that Red Zone is going to ESPN. I don't really know how I feel about that. It's kind of, I'm expecting the worst and hoping for the best. That's the only way to describe how I feel about this. I love Red Zone. I don't buy Sunday ticket unless the NFL wants me to say I buy Sunday ticket. You know what I mean? If the NFL ever hit me up and said, hey, you buy Sunday ticket now, I'll fucking promote the shit out of that. But I don't buy Sunday ticket. I buy Red Zone every year, and I watch Red Zone, and then, if my team plays, I'll pirate that shit. I don't give a fuck. I'll go on Stream East. I'm not paying fucking $400 or whatever to watch Sunday afternoon games when I could watch Red Zone. But anyway, Red Zone to ESPN feels like we're magically going to get ads. They're going to get rid of like the witching hour. They're going to call it like the brought to you by Kia witching hour or some shit. It's going to be like the power hour with Ford or some dumb shit. It's going to piss everybody off. Scott Hansen ever leaves Red Zone, I'm going to storm the ESPN headquarters like the Capitol building on, when was that? January 6th. I'm going to be like a Trumper at the ESPN headquarters, just breaking in, taking people hostage if they ever get rid of Scott Hansen. I fucking love that guy. He's the best. The fact that guy, random shout out to Scott Hansen, the fact that guy like cleanses himself of liquid in his body before this so he can do 6 hours of football. Or actually, I think it's more than that. Is it 10 hours? 8 hours? Why? It's been a long time since football season. I want to say 10 hours of commercial-free football. Is that what it is? Hey, Siri, how many hours of commercial-free football is NFL Red Zone? 7 hours. Damn, I'm slacking it. Terrible NFL fan. Me right after just gassing this shit up. 7 hours of commercial-free football on Red Zone. That gets me fired up every time. And yeah, I mean, I'm expecting the worst, hoping for the best. Because I think Disney owns ESPN now, so we're gonna end up with some fucking bullshit. Who knows? Maybe ESPN does it well. Maybe ESPN just like it'll be in no time though. What do you really expect? Scott Hansen's gonna get fired. We're gonna have fucking Kendrick Perkins on or some stupid shit. Oh, just sounding like a moron. Stephen A is going to be on there just bitching. They're going to bring him in for like a segment while it's dry. We don't have any games right now. They're all going to halftime or they're in the break. So we're going to bring on Stephen A. And then he's going to come on and fucking lose his mind about something stupid. Or they'll have that moron whose name I can't remember right now. Who's the wide receiver? Keyshawn Johnson. Was that him who said, I don't think I've ever seen LeBron posterize somebody, and even Skip Bayless had to be like, what a fucking idiot. Please, for the love of God, keep Scott Hansen, keep 7 hours of commercial-free football, and don't fuck up Red Zone. Please don't fuck up Red Zone. We can move on that. I'm sure everybody agrees with me. Not a controversial opinion. I want to talk about random thing for the Lakers this year. This is going to be a quick segment, but I think that a lot of people think of LeBron as being a bad defender, but also recognize that LeBron James has had a ton of offensive load, which he shouldn't have been having. It should have been Anthony Davis's team, right? And a lot of people criticize LeBron for being lazy on defense, being this, being that. No one cares that he's 40 years old for some fucking reason. That's whatever. But I think that with Luka dropping weight, and Luka being the kind of guy that he is, I'm expecting a super high usage rate from Luka, and probably Austin Reeves maybe increasing a little bit too, and LeBron getting to be like an off-ball guy. Not completely off-ball, but LeBron just having significantly less offensive load than he's used to having throughout his career, and I think the result of that is going to be a much more locked-in LeBron James on defense. I don't think he's going to be fucking Jason Tatum. I don't think he's going to be Herb Jones. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's going to be out there like fucking Scottie Pippen just killing people, but I think we're going to have a much more locked-in LeBron James. I think we're going to have a much more attentive LeBron James on the defensive side of the ball. So maybe we'll see. I mean, maybe he's fucking old. Maybe it's over. You know what I mean? But when you take offensive responsibility away from a player, they tend to become a better defensive player. Like Giannis the last few years, it's gone the opposite direction. He's had to give out significantly more effort on the offensive side of the ball. The guy's averaging like 32, 10, and 7 or some shit. Ridiculous. Ridiculous shit. But his defense has been a little bit worse. Nobody ever has been able to be like, actually, I mean, there's been a couple, but most players cannot shoulder a gigantic usage rate while also shouldering being one of the best defenders in the league if you're not an all-time great big, in my opinion, because an all-time great big can do that by being in help defense, not by running around trying to, chase Steph Curry over a screen. Like Hakeem could do that because Hakeem was standing at the paint locking shit up and then coming down hitting people with, pump fake, spin fade, step through off the glass. Like Hakeem was nasty. But I bet you his usage rate wasn't that high on offense. You know what I mean? Like LeBron had some super high usage rates throughout his career. Not going to go too far into it. I just think I'm expecting personally to see a LeBron James that's a bit more focused, a little bit more attentive, a little bit more locked in on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if you guys have seen Jordan Love. I saw an interview of him talking about Matthew Golden. I'm not super high on the Packers this year. A lot of people are. I think a lot of people have them as like one of the higher upside teams in the league. They've been a young team who's figuring it out, quote unquote, for a couple years now. So we'll see what they really can do. If Matthew Golden is elite, I think they'll be a really good team. I'm not betting on a rookie wide receiver to be elite. I think he'll be really good. I don't think he'll be elite. But Jordan Love says Matthew Golden's the most impressive player right now in training camp. And I quote, gonna be a stud. I hope he is. They finally drafted a receiver in the first round. I like that they're committing to getting Jordan Love some help. Matthew Golden was a fucking dog at, I think it was Texas, at Texas in college. So hopefully he's a dog in the NFL. If he is, they do have a shot. I can't say that I'm predicting that or I expect that, but I'm rooting for him. You know what I mean? I'm not betting the over on the Packers win total for the season because they drafted Matthew Golden. Although I like him and I think he's a really good player. So we'll see. We'll see if he turns out to be a stud. Hopefully he is. If he is, that receiver core is going to be really good because right now that receiver core is full of really good 2s and really good 3s, but no real true wide receiver 1s. So if you can get Matthew Golden in there and then Christian Watson can be your wide receiver 2, Jaden Reed and the other guy whose name I can't remember, who is also fast, can be the 3s. You know what I mean? That's a really good receiver core if you do have a true 1. But it is difficult to expect a rookie wide receiver who wasn't like a top 5 pick to be that guy immediately. Like I'm not expecting Matthew Golden to come in and have 1,400 receiving yards. I'm expecting him to come in and be good. I don't know about the greatest, but good. This Jerry Jones Micah situation, fucking weird. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I've done multiple topics about this at this point where I really have done nothing but shit on Jerry Jones, to be honest with you. This offseason has been full of me shitting on Jerry Jones, shitting on Bengals ownership. I just don't like it. I don't think that you don't get to negotiate with the player. Micah Parsons' job is to play football, not to negotiate his contract for football. Your job is to do the negotiations, sign deals. You're a businessman. You don't get to art. This is low-key Nick Wright's take, but I'm just echoing it and saying that I agree with it, so I'm not taking credit for it, but I think I would have thought the same shit. You know what I mean? It's not an original take. It's not like some mind-blowing shit. You know what I mean? But Micah is not the negotiating party for himself. His agent is. You don't get to take him out to dinner and be like, so, $42 million over 4 years? Sounds good. And leave and just say, yeah, we had a handshake deal. Well, Micah is not reading the fucking fine print. You know what I mean? So that's a little weird for me, but I don't like it. I think it's stupid. You're fucking up the vibes again. I think we all know what's going to happen here. He's not going to get traded. Jerry's going to pay him like $48 million a year, like 3 days before the season, and everyone's going to be like, well, that was fucking stupid. And he's going to be like, they talked about me in the A block of the Rich Eisen show 17 times. Colin Cowherd covered the Cowboys 100 times. First Things First covered the Cowboys 100 times. And everybody's talking about the Cowboys. Except for some reason in Jerry Jones' mind, that's the same as being a good team and winning the Super Bowl. Cut that shit out. Nobody cares about them talking about your team. They talk about the Lakers every day. I talk about the fucking Lakers every day because that drives people to watch the fucking video. You don't talk about the fucking Cowboys because of how good of a team they are. You talk about them because the Cowboys are a big draw. It would be cool if we could talk about the Cowboys because of how good of a team they are. But instead, they pay everybody on their team $58 million more than they're worth every fucking time with a ton of guaranteed money. And I think Jerry Jones lost his fastball. I think it's over. I saw him say that he would, he wants to win more than anybody. He would trade anything. I don't think he'd trade doing a fucking press conference. So fuck him. I think Jerry Jones is losing his mind. He's lost his fastball. Jerry Jones is cooked. Cowboys are cooked. I'll tell you what, though. Dak Prescott's going to look awesome in fantasy this year if he doesn't throw a billion picks, because that guy's going to be losing a lot of games and throwing. They don't got no run game. It's going to be CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. Go get it. Go get it all game. Just you run, I'm going to throw it. So if you're looking for a sleeper quarterback in fantasy, draft Dak Prescott like 3 rounds after everybody else starts drafting quarterbacks, because everyone hates Dak. Good pick this year. The Bengals are playing their starters in the preseason opener. I just got done watching that, so clearly that was phrased before the game was played. Starting offense looked good. The defense shockingly looked like shit. So, like I said, after criticizing Jerry Jones and saying that I constantly this offseason have been criticizing Jerry Jones and criticizing the Bengals, I'm going to do it again. This feels like the exact same team. The offense, again, is going to look fucking sick. Everyone's going to marvel about how awesome the offense is and how nobody wants to play them. And then everybody who plays them is going to hand the ball off 1,700 times. Actually, they're going to do whatever they want 1,700 times. They had the Eagles' backup QB. People are talking about, could he start on these teams? I can't remember. Is it Tanner McKee? I think that's it. Talking about, could he start on the Colts? Could he start on the Saints? He maybe could start on the Saints, but your first team defense is making a third team guy look like he's fucking the GOAT. So, again, feels like the same thing. They're going to win 9 games. Joe Burrow's going to get blamed for it. I really wish that they would make the playoffs. I really wish that Joe Burrow could be on a competent organization. Kind of just feels like Dan Marino, as of right now, just getting fucked by his organization. And the other one that we'll cover real quick, actually not really real quick, this is one that actually matters. We probably should have started with this, is Rashawn Slater tore his patella tendon, I believe. Gone for the year. He just got paid out of his ass. I believe he just got a fat ass contract. Let me look up the details real quick. Super unprofessional. Should have had it ready. Rashawn Slater's contract, he just got a 4-year, $114 million contract extension with $92 million guaranteed. I know I just said that actually, okay, this is a bit of an odd take, right? Jerry Jones was just talking about, oh, well, we signed Dak and then he got hurt, blah, 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 blah. Is there any world where you think that they were a little bit closer to signing that deal with a lot more guaranteed money? And now Jerry just saw some team extend a player and then he tears his patella tendon like 2 weeks later. And he's like, fuck, should I see if I can get Micah to play this year? Should have done a Jerry Jones impression, but I don't have that in my bag. But I wonder if that's a possible thought. I know that those two players have nothing in common. You know what I mean? They play on either side of the ball, so they definitely... The left tackle market, I guess actually technically the left tackle market will impact the defensive line market over time, you know what I mean? Because if everyone's paying defensive tackles a bunch or defensive ends a bunch, then you're going to be like, oh, well, we're stopping those guys so we get paid more. Same way that corners are going to start to get paid more, but point stands. Do you think that Jerry Jones is going to see that and be like, that fucking sucks? It really would suck if we signed Micah to $865 to $170 million contract extension, and then 2 weeks into the season he blows out his knee and he's done for a year, or he tears his Achilles, God forbid. You know what I mean? Micah Parsons has some horrific injury like Aiden Hutchinson had last year. I don't think it's really going to actually affect what happens, but just a thought. I wonder if I bet you Jerry thought. I don't think it's really going to change. You can't really use that as leverage in a fucking business deal. But Jerry was at the house and he saw Rashawn Slater tore his fucking knee open. And I know he was like, fuck. Really hope that doesn't happen when we have to sign Micah. But let's cover this from the Chargers instead of making it about the Cowboys again. That fucking sucks for the Chargers. It really does. Rashawn Slater, one of the best tackles in the league. Thankfully, they still have one awesome tackle in Joe Alt. But, I mean, you went from having... So, the Chargers, like, tackle position, probably the best tackle duo in the entire NFL. Two guys who have all-pro, Pro Bowl potential this year. Not anymore because of Rashawn Slater being gone. But before that happened, best tackle duo in the NFL, in my opinion. But your guard center guards position is really weak. And now if you don't have the strength of having two awesome tackles, your interior offensive line is going to look real shitty. Justin Herbert might be taking some hits this year in the ability to run the ball as much as John Harbaugh wants. Is it Jim? I don't fucking remember. I think it's John. I always confuse the two of them. What Harbaugh wants to do, obviously, is run the ball as much as possible. Might have to air it out a little bit more this year. Quick passes. Get rid of the rock, because you're going from, okay, our interior offensive line sucks, but our tackle group is awesome. To where now you have one awesome tackle, a backup tackle, and a terrible guard center guard combination. I would be... All those people who went preseason and bet all their money on the Chargers winning the division over the Chiefs wouldn't have fucking done that. And that's why. Don't gamble until the preseason ends unless you really are confident. The Chargers, that really sucks. Rashawn Slater, hope he gets well soon. That's all I'm going to do today. Tomorrow I think we'll do the greatest rivalries in sports history, because that's just something I feel like doing. Sounds fun, unless any news comes out. But, I'm going to cut it off there.